All right, let's talk about something that makes a lot of people, well, a little stressed out, budgeting. But what if I told you we've been looking at it all wrong? In this explainer, we're going to flip the script on budgeting. We're not talking about a chore. We're talking about your number one tool for financial freedom. So, does this sound familiar? You get that awesome paycheck on Friday, you're feeling good, right? And then bam, it's Monday morning, you peek at your bank account and just wonder, where did it all go? If you've ever felt that weekend money vanishes into thin air thing, then you are in exactly the right place. Now this is the huge mindset shift we're aiming for today. We are tossing out that old, restrictive, kind of negative idea of a budget. Instead, I want you to think of it like a blueprint. You are the architect of your financial future, and this budget, it's your plan for building the exact life you actually want to live. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll bust some of those old myths. Then, we'll get super clear on your numbers. After that, we'll dive into a few killer strategies. And finally, we'll talk about how to actually make your plans stick so you can really start designing that future you want. Let's just be real for a second. The word budget can sound, I don't know, a little stingy, right? Maybe even a bit old-fashioned. It's a word that immediately makes us think about all the things we can't have. But honestly, that's the biggest myth we need to bust right now from the very start. See, the real goal here isn't to stop you from spending your money. Not at all. It's about making sure you know exactly where your hard-earned cash is going. It's about shifting from just reacting and spending to making intentional, purposeful decisions. And that awareness, that's where your power really, truly lies. So, where do we start? Well, you can't draw a map if you don't know the terrain, right? The first practical, boots-on-the-ground step is to get a crystal clear picture of what's happening with your money right now. It's time to gather up the data. Okay, first up, you gotta know your net income. That's the actual cash that hits your bank account after all the taxes and deductions. If your pay kind of jumps around, no worries. Just look at your last few pay stubs and find the average. Next, it's time to play detective. Gather up your bills, your bank statements, all of it. For those tricky costs that change every month, like groceries or gas, just look at what you spent over the last 2 or 3 months and average it out. This way, you're working with a real number, not just a wild guess. Now, as you track all this stuff, it is so crucial to understand these two types of expenses. You've got your fixed expenses. These are the predictable ones. They're the same every month. Think your rent, your car payment. Then you've got your variable expenses. These are the ones that are always changing, like gas for your car, groceries, or a fun night out. Getting these two groups separated is absolutely key to building a budget that's realistic and actually flexible. All right, so we've got the numbers. Now for the most important part, figuring out what it all means. And listen, this is not about judging yourself for that morning coffee or anything like that. It's about making sure your money is lined up with what you truly value and where you actually want to go in life. Let's break it all down into 3 simple buckets. First, you've got your needs. I mean, this is the essential stuff for survival and stability. A roof over your head, utilities, basic food. Then you've got your wants. These are the extras, the things that make life fun and enjoyable, but that you could technically live without. And then there are your goals. And guys, this is the real game changer. This category is you actively paying your future self, whether that's saving for a down payment or crushing that debt. And when you look at it like this, it's a super powerful way to see where your money could be going. Now, the exact percentages might change based on your life, of course, but just seeing your money broken down into these core categories, it really puts things into perspective. Okay, so let's take everything we've learned and put it into action. There is no single, perfect, one-size-fits-all budget out there. The absolute best budget is the one you'll actually stick with. So let's explore 2 really popular and super effective strategies to get you started. So first up, we've got the 50-30-20 rule. You've probably heard of this one, and for good reason. It's incredibly simple and gives you a fantastic starting point. It takes those categories we just talked about, needs, wants, and goals, and gives them some clear targets. So here's the breakdown. The idea is to put about 50% of your take-home pay towards your needs, 30% towards your wants, and a non-negotiable 20% towards your financial goals. You know, savings and paying off debt. A great first step to make this happen is to set up an automatic transfer. The day you get paid, have that 20% move right into a separate savings account. That way, you're paying your future self first before anything else. Now, if you're someone who really wants to feel in total command of your money, you might love zero-based budgeting. The idea is simple but powerful. At the start of the month, you give every single dollar you earn a specific job to do. So your income minus all your spending, all your savings, all your debt payments should equal zero. Now, that doesn't mean you have $0 left in your account. It just means every single dollar has been accounted for and put to work. Okay, let's make this real with an example. We're using the median US monthly household income here, which is around $6,500. You can see how we've assigned money to savings goals, all the necessary bills, and our wants. And when you subtract all those planned expenses from the income, you're left with exactly zero. This pretty much eliminates that accidental "where did my money go" spending and makes sure every dollar is working for you. Okay, so you've picked a strategy, you've made a plan. That is awesome. Seriously, that's a huge step. But we all know the real magic is in the follow-through, right? So let's talk about how to stay consistent and what to do when life, inevitably throws you a curveball. So what happens when you mess up? What if you overspend? This right here is probably the #1 fear that stops people dead in their tracks before they even start. But listen to me, it's going to happen, and that is okay. A budget is a living, breathing thing, not something carved in stone. The key is how you respond to it. Rule #1, do not panic. Seriously, take a breath and just look at where the overspending happened. The first, easiest place to adjust is usually your wants bucket. Maybe you cut back on eating out for a bit, or pause a streaming service. If you still need to find more cash, it's time to reevaluate your needs. Do you really need that storage unit, or could you sell what's in it? And finally, always remember the other side of the equation. Can you boost your income? All right, to really lock this in and make it a long-term win, here are a few final tips. First, schedule a monthly money check-in. Put it in your calendar. It's a non-negotiable meeting with yourself. Second, automate everything you possibly can. Put your plan on autopilot. Third, find a tool that works for you, whether that's a cool app or just a simple spreadsheet, whatever makes it easy. And last, but most importantly, always remember your why. Why are you doing this? Write down your big goals, put them somewhere you'll see them every day. That's the ultimate motivation when things get a little tough. So as we wrap this up, I really want to bring it all back to where we started. This whole process, all these numbers and categories, it's not really about numbers on a page. It's about taking intentional, deliberate control of the direction of your life. Because here's the ultimate truth of it all. A budget doesn't box you in, it sets you free. It frees you from the stress of the unknown, from that anxiety you get when you have to check your bank account. It frees you from living paycheck to paycheck. It gives you permission to spend money on the things you love, totally guilt-free because you planned for it. It gives you freedom. Look, you have the tools now. You have the framework. The plan is no longer some big mystery. Your financial future isn't something that just happens to you. It's a story that you get to write, one intentional decision at a time. So the only question left is, are you ready to pick up the pen?